This is another video. Today's date is April 16, 2026. And we have in front of us, and he will say his name and middle name and birth date and address.
My name is Delbert Himsell. I was born 10/1935, and on that day they didn't have any middle names. They had run out of them. So I don't have a middle name. But in 1942, when I was 7 years old, we went to Arlen Elementary School, and then I was 7 years old, and I had a old orange sack that would let the pods breathe, but we went along the fence rows and picked up these pods so the airmen would have life jackets that would float, and we worked on that for that whole year and collected many of those, and maybe we saved somebody's life. I don't know.
Look at that. Now point out what that is in front of you.
This is a milkweed pod, and the milkweed itself, the seeds, the monarch butterfly lives on those, and that's why you have a little decrease in population of those, because the farmers have taken out their fence rows where these pods would grow abundantly. And today, the soldiers and sailors and airmen couldn't rely on these because there's not that many milk pods anymore, and they'd have to rely on homemade silk.
Okay, now look behind you. You just talk to us about that, and then look at me, talk about what those men are doing, and turn back to me, and then say what they're doing, and tell them how you did that again.
Okay. Now, in the pictures back here, you can
look
see,
at me. You got to look this way.
The picture back here, you can see many people working with their sacks, gathering the pods. And as this is the same way we did it, only we would do it individually, because the people in our school were basically all farmers, and they would go home and do this on their own. Then they would turn them in at the end of the day or end of the week to the principal, and he would take it on further to the Army
or the Navy. And you did about 2 sacks. You did about 2 sacks a day.
Yeah, I'd get about 2 sacks a day, and they were abundant then, and we didn't know exactly what we were doing until they told us what they would do. So then we kept on doing it, and also we gathered tin cans and all kinds of stuff. We was all part of the Army.
So over to the left there is tin cans. Over there is our recycled place. So we did that in Evansville, but you did that up in Ireland as well.
Yes.
Stand there and talk about it.
Well, we gathered tin cans.
Look at me.
We gathered the tin cans.
Move. Yeah, that's better. Okay, you gathered tin cans, and what else?
And anything metal that was going to be thrown away, or also in Jasper they melted down the Civil War cannons, sent them in, but mostly somebody's junk was somebody's real good stuff now, because they could melt them down, and I'm sure a lot of it was brought back here to Evansville to put in their planes or their ships or whatever they were making here in Evansville.
So you did that as a child. You remember that in World War II?
7, 8 years old then.
So he's born in 35. So,
yes.
So he was a kid doing that. Tell us what you thought about when the bombing of Pearl Harbor happened, and what did you think about World War II, Junie? And tell us where you got the word Junie.
Well, Junie's a nickname for Junior. Delbert Himsell Jr., and I got stuck with being called Junie because I didn't have a middle name.
Move back. Back, because I had a light on your face against the wall, just sitting. Okay, you didn't have a middle name, so they called you Junie.
That's right.
Tell us about from 1939 or 1941 to 45, chronologically, what you thought about the war.
Well, we had some people that were local people that were more or less enlisted to War I and War II, but War II they would come to the school and recruit and talk about it, And Leslie, what happened to Arlen High School, I think it was in 1944, there happened to be 8 girls in the class because all the boys were gone. They went to the Army. But you know, something happened in 48, they were all boys. So maybe and I had one family, I gotta think of his name, anyway, her name was Hazel Murray, and they were to get married, but they had to, he had to go to War II, and what she did, she just grabbed her stuff, went to Gary, Indiana, and became a Rosie the Riveter making things in Gary. And they came back, and they did get married. And I had another fellow there that he was in Morocco. And Arlen had a cannery, the Shamrock Canning Company, and they canned tomatoes. And Glenn Britton was a soldier, and he had a 5-pack, supposed to be for 5 soldiers, and he opened them up, and there was a can of Arlen tomatoes in that 5-pack. And he got shot through his shoulder and played dead at that Battle of the Bulge. And they poked around on him, he didn't move, and he survived. But prior to that, he was on one side of the hedgerow, and he heard a voice on the other side of this hedgerow, and he recognized the voice from being his high school friend. Hostetter was his name, and he heard this guy talking on the other side. He said, "That's Hostetter from Otwell. I know the guy." So I interviewed him for about an hour and a half, and he came to the Arlen Historical Society, and he talked. He said he couldn't talk, but he talked for an hour and a half. We had to stop him off, but he was in line with a tall guy to get clothes, and as would have it, he got the tall guy's clothes, and the other guy got the short. But they were World War I wool uniforms. That's how we had to do to make do, just like World War I. We had to gather everything like Evansville did, and Evansville is a crown jewel to put things together.
My wife asked him